What you're about to see are passionate, dedicated, and trained people practicing and preparing to enter an extreme sporting event that may change their lives. Do not try this on your own without necessary experience and supervision.
Breathe in, breathe out. This moment's what it's all about. Born to be great, your goal awaits. Don't hesitate. Xcellerate.
Set for the race, aim to give it all I got. Mind is set, gonna reach the highest spot. Working hard in order to fulfill my goal. Nothing can stop me from getting what I'm going for. That's being great. I was working tirelessly, so I won't hesitate. Gotta get to first place. Hands on the golden plate. I concentrate. Won't hit the brake. Just move forward. Xcellerate. Last week, we put some pedal to the metal with 13-year-old Mianda Maseti, who competed in the L Road BMX Inter-Provincial Championship and took home the gold. Today we meet 13-year-old rhythmic gymnast Yulia Galukhin, who will compete in the Ready or Not Inter-Club competition. Rhythmic gymnastics is a sport that combines elements of ballet, gymnastics, dance, and apparatus manipulation. The victor is the participant who earns the most points, determined by a panel of judges for leaps, balances, pivots, apparatus handling, and execution. Each movement involves a high degree of athletic skill. Physical abilities needed by a rhythmic gymnast include strength, power, flexibility, agility, endurance, and hand-eye coordination. Let's meet this accelerator.
My name is Yulia Galukhin. I'm 13 years old and I'm in grade 7. I stay in Cape Town and I live with my mom, dad, 2 sisters and my granny. I started doing gymnastics when I was 4, but I only started competing at 5. I started doing gymnastics because my mom was the coach and she used to take me along to all her lessons and sessions. And then I started getting interested. I used to do random things, just dancing around. And then I started using the apparatus and I started really enjoying it. As I got into a higher level, it started to get more interesting. And then that's when I was a lot into it, which was about 3 years ago. My coach is my mom. I think that she's a really good coach and I wouldn't ask for anyone else to be my coach.
Yulia's talent, I think she has a lot of genetic things to do this sport, and desire and dedication and patience from what she does.
We both athletes, ex-athletes and the coaches. And because all our lifestyle is dedicated to sport, and from the childhood she saw us busy with that, and she was grown up in a sport hall.
In the sport, my inspiration is Salom Pashava. She's a gymnast from Georgia, and I really like her because she has a very original style of routines, and I love her choreography because it's a lot different from all the other gymnasts. It just stands out to me. Some basic terminologies used in gymnastics are développé is just when you drag your leg up. Then échappé is a small jump. Plié is when you go down. And a pirouette is a turn. There aren't really any rules in the sport, but the less mistakes the gymnast makes according to those rules, the higher score the judges give the gymnast. The main equipment we use in the sport is a ball, a hoop, clubs and ribbon. The sport requires quite a bit of dedication from your parents, seeing as they have to drive you every day there and fetch you every day. They have to buy all your equipment. They have to be dedicated and have the money to obviously buy your equipment.
We support her. Most of all, emotional, because sometimes she can say that muscles sore, she doesn't want it, maybe didn't sleep enough, tired. We try to convince her to go back to training hall, then to work hard. and we try to share her feelings with us because we know what the athlete feels.
We train 6 times a week from Mondays to Saturdays. We train 3.5 hours to 4 hours.
I'm happy with Yulia's dedication and training. She's became dedicated recently because she was very playful at practice, but now she understands her goals and importance of the competitions.
I'm preparing for the Radionaut Interclub competition, which is held in Somerset West in the Western Cape. This competition is very important to me because it prepares me for an even more important competition, which gets even closer and closer to the main competition of the year, which is the South African Nationals.
Yulia has good chances to win this event because she's practicing double hard now because we in stream already. We did first competition of the year not long ago and she was trying herself very good, but some connections still not looks nice, but she has chances to win.
After the break, we will see Yulia do some flipping fun routines in her inter-club competition. Dula le rona, re bone hore na o ikemiseditse ha kae. Empa ha jwale, etela Facebook page ya rona mme o re phetela ka papadi tseo amaneng le tsona. Ho tseba mang, mohlomong o ka iphumana o le mona lenanehong la rona. And remember guys, if you've missed any Xcellerate episodes, you can catch up on our YouTube channel. Welcome back. This is Xcellerate. Kajeno re tsamaya le Yulia Galukhin, ngwanana ya dilemo tsa 13 e leng sebapadi sa Rhythmic Gymnast. Mme yena o tla be a hlodisana ho inter-club competition. Na ebe Yulia a ka kgona ho fumana botsitso kapa o tla iphumana a kobehile mmele ona? Keep watching to find out.
Today I'll be competing at the Interclub Radionaut competition, which is held at Somerset West in Cape Town. I'll be competing in the junior category, which is 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds. Today I'll be competing using 4 different apparatus. The first apparatus is hoop, then ball, clubs and ribbon. Once my mother and I arrive at the venue, I start off with warming up. I start my warm-up with cardio to get my heart rate up. Next I do stretches to warm up my muscles. Some of the stretches are splits and back bends, warming up my toes, my hips, my neck and my wrists. It's important to do my stretches because if I don't do them, then I can injure my muscles or pull my muscles. The last preparation I do before taking my apparatus are elements, which are balances, leaps and turns. Before I go onto the carpet, I go to the changing room to put on my leotard. It's important to look neat and presentable in my leotard. My mom lets me know it's my turn and I walk towards the carpet. I'm a bit nervous because this is my first routine. But I'm also confident because hoop is my strongest apparatus. I'm waiting for the judges to signal for me to go onto the carpet. I go into the carpet and the first thing I do is I present to the judges. Next, I get into my starting position. The first thing I do is a ring turn, which I follow up with a leap, which is a stag ring. I follow that up with a switch walkover with the hoop rotating on my foot. Next, I do a sequence of steps with the hoop rotating on my hand, followed by some rotations in and out and a spin behind. Then I do a toss and catch underneath in a back bend, which is followed up by a risk with 3 rotations and another apparatus difficulty. I continue with an attitude turn and then another leap, which is a stag arch. Then I do a risk with 2 rotations, catching on my right hand rotating, That is followed up by a balance, which is called a penché with support. Then I do a body wave and an apparatus difficulty, which includes a cartwheel. Then I throw the hoop up and catch in a backwards walkover on my one foot. I continue that with fouette turns, which I do 5 of. That is all followed up by another series of steps, which this hoop rotates on my hand. I do a spin, roll behind my back, rotate it on my right hand, then I rotate it on my bun, and then I do another ring balance. That is all ended up with a risk in which I do 2 rotations. And then I present for the judges again. I feel very relieved after my routine, and I think I did a good job. When I finish my routine, I go into the warm-up area again, and I wait for my next routine.
Oh, well done. Well done. Not too bad, not too bad.
My next apparatus is ball. I'm feeling a bit scared because the ball can roll away from you.
Отсюда до сюда.
I try not to overthink things, and I just focus on what I have to do on the mat.
You know what to do, Yul. You practiced.
I wipe the ball because the first movement I do requires grip. The judges say that I can go onto the carpet, and I present and get into my starting position. The first thing I do is a backwards walkover with the ball in my foot. I do a balance, which is called a ring balance. I follow that up with a risk with 2 rotations and bounce it off with my hands. I do a leap, which is a stag arch, and do a series of steps. That series of steps includes a mastery, which I drop from my chin. Then I do a rotation of the ball, and I roll it on my hands. The series of steps follows up by a turn, which is an attitude turn. Then I throw the ball up and catch it in my hands behind my back. I roll it up with my back and continue that with a penché balance. I do a risk, which includes 3 rotations, which I catch in a backwards walkover on elbows. I do another risk, which also includes 3 rotations. I do a ring turn. That is followed up by another sequence of steps where I bounce the ball, throw it up, pass it behind, roll again, and do another apparatus difficulty. I follow that up with fouette turns, which I do 6 of. I do a turning stag, which is a jump, which is followed by apparatus difficulty, where I drop the ball from my chin and bounce it in a backwards walkover. I do a risk, and I catch with my feet, and then I do an apparatus difficulty, which I end my routine off with. And then I end. I present the judges and walk off to the warm-up area. I wasn't too happy with my routine because it wasn't as clean as I expected.
I like you made a solution for the mistake. It's very good.
Какой mistake?
Mistake, you didn't do the risk. You just got it. Yulia, fouette is better, but I didn't see you practice it. Just 2 girls rest. I see you tired. 2 girls rest, fouette first. Okay. Well done.
My next routine is clubs. I enjoy doing clubs, but it is one of my hardest apparatus. Before I go onto the carpet, I visualize the routine in my head. I wait for the judges to signal for me to go onto the carpet.
Control yourself and your clubs.
And my mom gives me some advice before I walk onto the carpet.
Stretch yourself, Yulia. Stretch to the ceiling on turns, on throws. Don't afraid.
The judges signal for me to go onto the carpet and I present. I get into my starting position.
Yulia has just successfully completed a second apparatus with the ball. She now has 2 more apparatus routines to go. Na ebe a ka kgona ho iphumana a le ka sehlohong hore a fumane gauta. Re tla bona ha re kgutla papatsong. Empa ha jwale a tela mane Facebook page ya rona mme o re phetele ka papadi tseo amaneng le tsona. Ho tseba mang o ka iphumana o le mona lenanehong la rona. And if you've missed any Xcellerate episodes, you can catch up on our YouTube channel. Welcome back. This is Xcellerate. Kajeno re mona Somerset, mane Western Cape. Me re etetse Yulia Galukhin, ngwanana ya dilemo tse 13 wa Rhythmic Gymnast. Yena o hlodisana ho Ready or Not Inter-Club Competition. O saletswe ke di-apparatus tse 2 hore a qete. Will Yulia continue to impress the judges and hopefully get a podium finish?
I roll the club on my hands, which they are connected. I throw it up in the air and do 3 rotations. I do a balance, which is called a ring balance. I continue with a series of steps where I rotate my clubs, spin on my feet, I bash the clubs against the floor and do a rotation of the clubs. I toss the clubs into the air and prepare for my fortes. I do 6 fortes. I continue with a turning stag arch where I tap the clubs above my head and I finish that off with an illusion. I do a risk with 3 rotations. I throw the club up in the air and I trap it under my leg. I do a turn which is called a ring turn. I continue with a risk in which I do 3 rotations and thereafter I do another mastery. I finish the mastery with an attitude turn. After the attitude turn, I do a stag arch. I do another series of steps where I rotate my clubs, toss it up and do another mastery. After the mastery, I do another mastery. I connect the clubs, put it onto my foot, and do a backwards walkover. I do a backwards walkover which wasn't very successful, but I have to stay focused and finish my routine. I carry on with my last element, which is a mastery, and I successfully catch. I present to the judges and walk back to the warm-up area. I walk off the mat and I feel a bit disappointed about myself because I should have focused more on that certain apparatus difficulty.
That's fine. I saw the problem. What? Do you understand why? Because you were late with the music already. You were panicking to get them together. That's fine. Okay. Calm down. Oh, well done so far. Well done. Fine.
For the last routine of the day, which is ribbon, I change into my red leotard. I take the ribbon out of my bag and I walk into the warm-up area.
Чуть-чуть покрути, Юля, чуточку покрути. Да. Ну, чуть-чуть сделай что-нибудь, один элемент. One element, anything. Юля, pull the ribbon, pull the ribbon. Yeah, we just changed. Okay, yeah, she's coming now, yeah.
While I walk to the mat, I try to stay focused even though it's my last routine, I can't relax.
Calm down. Work with the ribbon. Yulia, with the wrist. Work.
I wait for the judges to signal for me to go on. And I get into my starting position after I present them. I start off with a cartwheel where I catch the ribbon behind my back. That is followed by a series of steps where I do snakes, spirals, which includes Russian steps. After that, I do a penché balance while spiraling the ribbon. Then I do a jump, which is a stag arch. After that, I do a turn, which is called the ring turn. That is followed by a risk where I do 3 rotations, and then I do a small connection and continue with the balance. After the balance, I do a mastery, which is a walkover on one hand. After that, I do fortes. I do 6 of them. The fortes are followed by a series of steps where I run through the ribbon, do spirals and snakes once again. After the steps, I do a risk, and after the risk, I do another mastery, which is an illusion where I flick the ribbon with my foot. After the mastery, I do a jump, that is a turning stag arch. After the turning stag arch, I continue with the attitude turn. The attitude turn is followed by a risk, which also includes 3 rotations. After the risk, I do 2 connected masteries. The one is where I flick the ribbon behind my back, and the other one I pull the ribbon with my foot. I present to the judges and walk off the carpet. After my last routine, I feel relieved and there's no more stress on my shoulders.
Well done. Swallow. Tricky swallows. No tricky swallow.
After my last routine, my mom congratulates me and gives me a hug.
Well done. Breathe. Well done.
Once everybody is done competing, we have a prize giving. We start the prize giving off with a parade with all the gymnasts walking onto the main carpet. I feel relieved because the day is over and I'm waiting for myself to maybe get a prize.
And junior in the next section, the golden victory goes to Yulia Galukhin.
I won a certificate for all of my routines and a medal for first place overall.
Well done, Yulia, on winning all your routines today. You showed great form, discipline, and flawless technique. We look forward to seeing you accelerate all the way to the Olympics. Next week, we'll meet 12-year-old sailor Elisa Falcon and watch her brace the waves in the Western Province Tiavatas Sailing Club competition. Don't miss out! In the meantime, check out our Facebook page for more news and views.